Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Petit Papier. Today I'm going to present to you my latest journal. This journal is inspired by Japanese retro 60s and 70s. So this is full of real vintage Japanese ephemera. I actually went to Japan last October for a trip, a 3 week trip. It was amazing. The food was great, and like I was able to like find some amazing stuff. I went to a few flea markets and I was able to get some really cool ephemera and also like beautiful vintage kimono fabrics to make these journals. Um, so the journal is mostly inspired by, like I said, the 60s and the 70s. I didn't make a kind of traditional geisha, more like 19, early like 1900, 1800, inspired journal. This is not what I found over there. Probably there was some ephemera, but probably much more expensive than what I paid. Honestly, it was such a good price, and it was super fun to rummage through all the flea markets and find everything. So this is like a kind of a three-piece. I wanted to use everything that I bought. So this is the main journal. This is like a secondary journal, and this is just a little box full of trinkets that I'm gonna explain later. So let's get started with this one first. I'm gonna put this on the side. There we go. Here. So I'm just gonna start with the measurements. This is 9.5 inches by 6.5 inches. It's not too much of a gator mouth. It's not too bad. I was able to kind of keep it tight. At first I was a little bit worried because I kind of did the cover before the signatures, which sometimes I do, and it can be tricky because we all know like we like to add a lot of stuff and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was kind of worried, but it turned out perfectly. So I'm just gonna, this is the top, this is the spine, and this is a beautiful back. I was so inspired when I found this fabric. This is, when I found it, I knew immediately it was gonna be my cover. It was in a fabric back with like a full of like you know, just kind of samples of like vintage kimonos, and I was attracted to the orange, and you've seen on the other cover that it was full of orange and there's some more inside, so it kind of also like went very well with like the ephemeras that are from like the 60s and the 70s. And I kind of embellished it a little bit, so I did like, you know, a few beading work here. I did a little bit of embroidery, and I had some leftover a little bit, and I did like it's kind of 3D a little bit. So let's get started on the top. I'm gonna start by talking about the ephemera here. So I found this picture, which is actually a postcard, but I think at some point people were taking their picture and making it a postcard, and I was so inspired by her. And the ephemera that I found was kind of like fitting for a lady, you know, in this era. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be her journal, stuff that she kind of kept for herself and other stuff like that. So what a beautiful picture. I think she's gorgeous with her kimonos and then her bandana. Beautiful smile, just absolutely lovely. I really wanted it to be like in a spatial place, and what is more special than the cover of a journal? So this is her. This is one of my favorite ephemera. It's like a little package here. I didn't want to like separate what was inside. I'm just gonna open it. So here, so there's a few postcards inside. They're beautiful, beautiful colors. You can see the stamp here and here as well. Look at the beautiful orchid. The colors are amazing. There's nothing in the back, and I just didn't want to separate them because, I mean, the paper was amazing. Look at this, and the back of the paper with the stamps. So I just left it as is, and the little purple here that's very much lilac, like a dark lilac, just fits with the cover. And this is another paper. It took me forever to see that little fish here. It's such a beautiful stamp. I have a second page of the same book, and you'll see another type of like print in it. It took me a while to find it. And this is a vintage paper. I had to reinforce it. It was like falling apart. And this is probably from a book, but this is all name of fishes. I used Google Map to look at it. I was very curious, but you can see like all the Latin name here. So I had to put it on top because of the fish. I thought it was so cool. And this is the beautiful cover. I absolutely love this cover. Like, I mean, this fabric is insane. I made the cover as to make it like continue, so like the full piece of, like, I don't know how to explain, but like the full piece of samples that I had was really like this, and then going on the spine and then ending in the back here. So such a beautiful like print. So I did some beading a little bit, you know, some stitching here to just add some texture, and then I had like this part here that was also, you know, this part was with this piece, and I just decided to cut it and add it here to make a beautiful like pocket here. And for the closure, this is something I had, you know, I bought this in a thrift shop for like 25 cents, I think. And it's just like, you know, closure for some clothes, whatever, I think maybe coat or something. And then I just I thought the colors obviously like work very well with the cover. And I added this. There was in a flea market, the same one I found the fabrics. This was made by a old lady, and I think it was her neighbor that would like sell it at the market for her, because she was probably like, you know, too old to come and travel. And you know, she made that with like old vintage kimono, and I just love these little like pepper. I thought it was so cute. They were a brooch, and I just like undid the brooch with like I think there was like some sort of little cord here attaching them, and I just thought it was making the perfect, you know, little piece to add on the journal. So let's open it and see what's inside. Okay, oops, like this. So I found a lot of beautiful postcard. I mean, like this one, look at the pictures and the colors, so saturated. I think it's really lovely. I adore these kinds of old postcards with colored like the colored images. I think it's amazing. This is the second piece of paper with, again, fish's name, but I think you can see on this side the clams or mussel in here. This is, I love this. This is so subtle, so cute. This is a book that I bought. I just kept the cover because the texture, the color, discoloration is just amazing. And you could write here on the back. This is actually the paper from this book, and super light, very sturdy material. It's a great type of paper, amazing. So for the back of my cover, like I did some kind of collaging with, like, this is tea bag paper that I love using to make some kit texture, and there's a lot of like brown tape in this journal, just to like, it's kind of, you know, just to give it a little bit of style. I love using that. So this is the first page from the book. I have no idea what this means. I checked on Google Map, it was not coming up. Google Translate, it was not coming up. So I got a lot of like these beautiful like magazine pages. They're very fragile. Love this lady. Like, I mean, she's so beautiful. And then here she presents like her dresses. This is just plain paper that I had, like vintage one. I love the little like kind of, how we call it, stain here. This fabric is just gorgeous. It came in the same bundle. Just love it. I slow stitch here, and this is a pocket when you open it. Another beautiful postcard here. I added a little stamp from Japan. And we went to a lot of like temples. Obviously, it's one of the main attraction over there to, you know, visit. And all the temples would kind of make their own pastries or like delicacies, and they would always be in beautifully packaged and come with some little like papers like this explaining the history of the temple and like the pastries. So I kept them all and put them in the journal. So look at this beautiful magazine paper, but the other side is my favorite. Like, she's so gorgeous. It's pretty fragile, as you can see, it's falling apart, but like amazing image. This is from the same book that I coffee dyed. This beautiful fabric, like you can see like the bright orange on all the fabrics that I use in this journal was so inspiring, and I think it was fitting very much with the 60s and 70s vibe. This comes from the same bundle. I just adore this. I think it's gorgeous, and I slow stitch here, and then it's a flip, and I put a little stem. This is the same piece of like you know, comes on the same book. And I got at the flea market a bunch of old like hotel tags. It was very cheap, guys. I spent maybe like $40 on all of these. Like, it was really fun to like buy all of this. Like, this guy had like a stand full of like folders with all the papers and everything inside. It was like Candyland for like a junk journal, honestly. So this here, this came from the same guy, and this, I have like a few baggies like that. I collect magnet in all the countries and cities that I visited, and I just kept this one, and I made this little booklet here with the same fabric, just gorgeous. Kind of die cut it a little bit, and inside there's all the stamps that I have from Japan, like just gorgeous. Just put it in that side. So most of the ephemera are coming from Japan and are vintage. This one has a very special story, actually. Not special story, but just like it's different. I posted on Facebook that I wanted some papers, old stuff, anybody had anything to give, you know. It's like a group for my whole neighborhood, and this lady came and just gave me a full bag full of stuff from the 20s and the 30s, from the ex-girlfriend of our granddad or dad. So this woman gave me this bag, and there was this drawing that the ex-girlfriend of her dad, I think, made when she was in the 20s, like a little girl, and I thought it was suiting this journal very well. So I put it here, the colors, everything, just amazing. On this side, another one of these tags. This is one of my favorite one, lovely, and this came also with like one of the ephemera bundle I bought from this guy. I mean, look at the fish, like, I just so funny, and just love the colors. Inside, a tag from a Japanese airport. I think it's 73. And then there's locations in the back how to get to the hotel, I guess. This is from a magazine or a book about I think it's stitching or like cross stitching, or like just making these pants for this little guy, you know. Knitting, I think, maybe a knitting magazine. On this side, I have this ad here. I checked with my Google Translate. It's an ad for medication made with garlic. And I found, this is not vintage, but it was so cute. It's a little box. You can like, you know, fold like this and put the things inside. I bought it in a store in Japan, and I just, you know, garlic, tomato. So I was like, oh, this is cute. I'll put it here. Just like this page. There was in the bundles a lot of like vintage label, and I like to do like swatch pages, so I just decided to put them all here. I thought it's great. This is a map of Japan from a book I had. Another one of these tags. This came from a magazine, I would imagine, about home decor. Just so lovely. Oops, I just want to make sure it's okay. Magazine page. Look at that, like the vintage like brother ad. So that's why, like, you know, this lady that I on the postcard on the top cover, I mean, I imagine that it is stuff that she like kind of kept, you know, like as, you know, she would like this machine, for example. And then I have here these, this is one of my favorite label. I just love the dragonfly, and look at how it's stained naturally here. And I put it with this tag that I had, the leaf here. I think it's just, it's suited pretty well. This is the middle of the signature. I like to make big folders, open thingies. I'm gonna show you. So I made a swatch of like all those beetles, just the stamps, and then I colored them. I don't know if you can see, but it's watercolor, but it's a little bit metallic. And then here I have, this is one of my favorite ephemera. I mean, gorgeous. That's why I put beetles there. I think it's very organic, like a garden. And I have this beautiful, again, like postcards. This is the only one I had with like something written in the back, so I just didn't want to glue it somewhere. I just wanted to be able to like enjoy both sides. That's why I put it here. And then you open it like this. And the way I thought about it, I have this beautiful like magazine picture here. So for me, it was like, this is a picture that she kept. She wanted to make this outfit. And here you have like, this is also a color inspiration. So this is my favorite postcard. Like, look at these colors, amazing. So she was inspired by the colors on these postcards, and you know, the little like stamps here. And then she collected some swatches, and these are the options to make the suit here. And then when you open this is just a place where you can write. I put like a label here, and then this is one of the papers that I got from one of those delicacies we bought in a temple. We bought a lot, guys. I mean, I came to Japan with 2 small suitcases, and I left with 2 small suitcases and 2 big suitcases full of goodies. Okay, on this side, this is just like a booklet that I glued here, so you could write here. And then again, this is the other side of that brother ad. You know, just this housewife like cooking. So maybe she liked the apron and she put it in here. On this page here, a little bit of like ephemera. These are the rest of the stamps that I had. And this came from a hygienic product, like, you know, like, I don't know how, it's like silk paper you can wipe your face with, I guess. I think it's to remove like kind of a greasy, or like, I don't know, it's still smelling pretty good. This is not vintage. This is one of my personal receipts, but I just thought it was cool, so I just wanted to put it in here. Just a piece of paper, just did fit with the avocado dyed, you know, paper here. Here, this is from a magazine, like some sort of soiree. So I just thought she kept that, maybe because she wants to go there. She wants to like go out and just go to see, I don't know, the exhibition, and then whatever, go to the restaurants. This is an old kind of certificate. It was very bright blue, so I dyed it, but like unfortunately this happened, but whatever. I still like the color better here. You open this again with this beautiful ad. You know, I think maybe she liked the picture because of how she styled her hair with the scarf and everything. This is another like connection flight tag here. This is from a female magazine, so sorry, woman magazine. And just I have this little card here. I didn't know where to put it, so I just put it here. Maybe she kept that from a travel and as a souvenir. This is, I would imagine this is all the hotel tags that she kept while traveling. I have this little thing, I guess it comes from like a package. So I got a bunch of these. You already seen it on another page, but I put some more because really I had like five or six of these. Just put it back in here. Okay. the other side of this map. This is a special piece of paper. This came from my grandfather. He had this sketchbook that like got wet at some point, and like the ink kind of went into the pages, and like this is, I don't know if you can see, but it's all like blue and like pink. It's like gorgeous. So I thought it was fitting with the colors of this journal. This is some sort of booklet, again, with this amazing piece of fabric that I cut, and then you can open it like that, and there's a little place to like write on this side as well. And inside here, this is not a vintage postcard, but it comes from Japan. I bought this in Hiroshima, and this is one of the delicacies over there. It's called okonomiyaki. And then it's just kind of noodles with like eggs, and then it's like kind of piled up. It's pretty good, and I just put it in here. I thought maybe this booklet would be some place to like keep our recipes. This is again just with a scrap, but again one of those you know, pastries we bought in Temple, and this is the paper that explained it, the history. And then you just couldn't put that anywhere in the journal, but I put it here because obviously like food, so I thought it was kind of related, and maybe this is recipes she wants to make. And this is the other side of this beautiful drawing by this woman when she was a little girl. So pretty. Just avocado dyed paper. This is an old map. I'm not gonna open it fully because it's absolutely falling apart, like it's really like damaged. But like beautiful map. I bought this at the same flea market for like $1. I just gonna put it back here. In one of the bundles that I bought, there was this vintage print with these kimonos. This is, I would imagine, from the 60s as well, just the quality of the paper and everything. Here, this is the men's page. So I had one page with like those male models here, and since one of them was smoking, I decided to, I had a few ephemera about it, so I decided to keep it. This is not vintage. This is a piece of candy I bought over there and decided to keep it for this journal. This is an old cigarette package, Shinsei cigarettes, and I decided to like make a little booklet out of it with some scraps that I had. And here, this is obviously like this little guy here. I thought it was just matching. This is a pharmacy bag about the medication, and inside I put another cigarettes packaging inside. You could write in the back of it, you know. So here, now here, this is a belly band. It was a big tag that I got. I just love the colors, so I kind of matched it with other ephemera that I had. This is some paper as well, and I just made a small booklet with it just to be writing inside. This is one of the magazine page about like stitching or like knitting, you know, here. And this comes from a Temple. I bought something in it and just thought it was fitting here, and it was making a nice color contrast. You know, the white page, this is more like coffee dyed, and here with the brown paper, you know, it's just to layer. I love this tag, beautiful tag here. You could see in the back it's written as well, so just here, dangling here. And then this is the other side of this magazine page. This is the last part, no, not the last, this is the one of the postcards that I purchased with the cranes, so pretty. And then it's magnetized, so you can open it like this and write in the back. And with some leftover paper, I did this kind of, you know, this piece here. You open it and you have like all the vintage piece of paper inside. So again, one of these, like I said, I got quite a few. You know, this is the knitting magazine. This is the same book that I use, and this is like this huge piece of paper that's probably like, I think it's for grades, like you know, report card or some sort. I'm just gonna show you the back, and this is the rest of this beautiful fabric that I used here to decorate it. And then you close it up. I'm just gonna put it back in. Here we go. And just you close that and it kind of holds it. And in this journal, I forgot to mention, but this is the journal part, but I made a little folio at the end to for more ephemera. So I have a second postcard. This one is like, I think personally I like the color a little bit less, you know, it's more like yellow, even though she's pretty, she's very pretty as well, but she doesn't smile. So I just, you know, I chose this one to be my cover, and I kept this one here. This is a homemade tag with the rest of the scrap fabric. And then when you open it, this is, I got a lot of these tags, and I didn't want to use it in other journals, so I just decided to create this folio to hold them all. So I got like so many different tags from the different hotels, vintage hotels. I think they're just all so gorgeous here, you know. And as you can see, I mixed a lot of like how you call it, the square paper, grid paper, yeah, grid paper with like I love the mix of like the grid paper with like the old kind of Japanese writings. I think it's just beautiful, and like the old kind of coffee dyed look. On this side here, this is the same book cover. I didn't glue that. It's the title that was glued on. This comes from another book that I purchased. And this is a little booklet I made, so you could write in here on these pages, and it just goes right in here like this. And then you turn this page, and here, this is another piece of ephemera here. This is a book cover, and then I just, you know, open it like that. It opens like that, and then in the back it was there was nothing written, so it's a good place to like write. And I had this little piece of paper, vintage paper. I thought it was just so nice, and I just added it here. So you just close it and pop it right back. And then this is the last piece of this journal. You just open it like this. This is the folder. And again, there are some more tags that I just, you know, the colors, I feel like the vibe of it, the look of it didn't fit well with the vibe, I think, of the journals, and I just left it here. So this is the main journal. Now I'm gonna show you the other journals that I made with the rest of like the fabrics that I had. I just really wanted to use everything, so that's why I created this. Actually, I was dreaming about this cover, and I really wanted to do it. So if you have like a vintage kimono in mind, they have like the kimono, and then they have this belt, which is called an obi, and then the obi in the back has kind of like this little pouch, and usually it's made with the same fabric as a belt. And they also have like a decorative like kind of lace or cord on top of it. And so this is what inspired it. And I also bought from the same lady that you saw the pepper from the other like journal, like, but this one I fell in love with this brooch. I think it's so gorgeous, like handmade. The color is just beautiful, you know. I wanted it somewhere, and it didn't fit with the other journal, so that's why I created that one. So here, this is something that like like a geisha or a lady would put in her hair. This is plastic, but I just think it's so pretty. And in the pouch here, this is not vintage, but I bought it over there. And then inside you can find a vintage button card, and I added some vintage button that I found over there. These buttons have a funny story. I went to like a art museum in Japan, in Tokyo, and it was an installation where you could just grab a handful of buttons from a bowl and like throw it at the exhibition to make it fall somewhere specific. And I just kind of grabbed a handful of buttons and put them in my pocket for my journal. I might have done that, yes. There was millions of buttons. Honestly, it was buckets full of buttons. Like, I mean, I didn't feel bad about grabbing them. So this is the cover, and you can open it like that with snaps in the back. And this is a very simple journal. There's it's not as embellished as the other one. Is pretty small. I just put a couple things. This is not a vintage postcard. I bought it in an exhibition as well. This is a bookmark made with scraps, and it's just like writing space. And like I said, I made this because I just wanted to make the cover specifically. So I just added a couple things. This is a tag that I made with a book cover, and there's just a little piece of scrap in there. So a lot of grid fabrics. There we go, piece of scraps from the cover. This came from one of these pastries that we bought. Like, it was like the wrapping paper. I just used it here as a journal card. This is also the middle. I use the same paper, and then you have a booklet here with some more grid fabric, and I did the signature in a way where you could use the full piece of paper for each one of them, so you can open it like that. There we go. And this last one here, and this is again with some wrapping paper from something we bought to eat over there, because we ate a lot, obviously. And then this here, just gonna put it back. So pretty simple piece of journal, because in my head I was just like, I don't sell my journals, but if I would, I always like put myself in a mindset where I would sell these and just like someone would use them. And the other journal is quite embellished, so this is more like writing space. This is just a tag, piece of scrap I didn't use, with one of the same buttons that I stole in. There we go. Little scrap here. And again, I told you all these bags come from shops or things that I bought with magnets in there. My fridge is full of magnets from around the world and, like, you know, museums and stuff. This is just some extra paper. And this is again the garlic medicine ad here. I'm just not gonna open it, but it's just, like I said, had a lot, just had to put them everywhere. And this is for this journal. Now I'm just gonna put it on the side. This moves quite a bit, but I just didn't want to like glue it or anything. And the last little piece, this is this little box here. This is full of little trinkets and leftovers that I have. This box come also from a temple, so the actual delicacies, pastries, whatever, sweets were in there. And I just kept it because I thought it was cute. You know, I coffee dyed it, and I just use tea bag paper just to make some texture, and added like an eyelet and put this scrap of fabric here because I really wanted to use everything. And then when you open it, there's a few cute things in there. So I'm gonna start with this. I bought this in a flea market as well. I wanted to use it on my journals, but like, as you can see, for me, like the colors didn't fit with like the colors I went with the journals. So I just put it in here. This I absolutely love. Look at this little tiny book. And then you open it, and then you have like the writings on this side, and here it's completely empty, so you could write like a lot of like notes here. But like, how cute is that? You know, adorable. Here was the price, and I removed it and it was damaged, so I just put this tape here. This is so fun. It's a piece of candy. This is the packaging, and inside there was some candy, and you could like actually press here and it would open and the candies would fall out. It was these little like kind of sweets, round sweets. Here it was just sugar, and I just kept it. But inside I put the leftover buttons that I grabbed from the museum, and I just put a scrap of fabric in there just to decorate. So this is it. This is my journal. This is my three-piece kind of journal, I guess, like ensemble. This one here, this beautiful journal, and again, this is the main one. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, just, you know, like, subscribe, and just write the comments below. And just thank you for watching. Have a nice day, guys.